So let's begin taking a child's pose first of all. So send your hips over your heels and just melt your chest down towards the mat. Take a nice big inhale and exhale. As you exhale, feel everything just releasing and relaxing, easing down into the floor. From there, walk the hands to one side, send the hips to the other side, just to deepen the stretch down one side of the body here, and then walk them over to the other side. Send the hips diagonally in the opposite direction. Come back through the middle and come up onto all fours. We're going to have equal pressure, both hands, both knees, and the chest lifted high. We're going to take our cat-cow here just to mobilise the spine. So we're going to curl the head, curl the tailbone, draw up through the core, arch the back to the ceiling, and then let the head and hips come out. Let the back drop down. Take a nice big inhale, reach it to the ceiling, and exhale. Take an inhale and exhale. We're going to combine that with our child pose now. So we're going to send the hips back over the heels, stretch out, return to all fours, cat stretch to the ceiling, and then let it out. Send the hips back, breathe out. Back to all fours, draw upwards, let it out, just moving within your own comfort, and start to quicken the pace just to get more movement, more heat through your body. This is the last time. And then we're going to stay on all fours here. We're going to take it into our thread the needle. So just taking one arm, you're going to reach down low and then open it up to the ceiling. Take an inhale as you thread down. Exhale, lengthen tall. Last time. And reaching round. Take a child's pose in between, stretch out, hips all the way to fingertips, return, thread the other way, and twisting. We really want to get as much twist through the spine as we can to loosen it off, free it off in every direction. Last time. Good, taking one more child's pose, hips come back. All fours for cat-cow, tuck under, let it out. We're going to move the spine through some bigger movements this time. So we're just going to curl onto the toes, keep the body tight, heels to the floor. Work your way up, bone by bone, just to the knees, and then we're going to send the head and the hips outwards. Curl under, draw up through that centre, lengthen tall. We'll go halfway. Breathing out. Keep close to the body, head and hips come out. Scoop through the spine. Draw yourself under, lengthen tall. Breathing out. Feel that mobility flowing through the spine. Feel every section moving, warming up, mobilizing. On this next one, we're going to take it down to the floor if it feels good too. So breathing out, bone by bone, let yourself come forwards. Inhale at the bottom, exhale, tailbone tucks under, lower back, middle back, upper back, tall. Breath out. And just let it flow, tucking yourself under, drawing up. One last time. Drawing in through that core, take that inhale, exhale, stack the spine, feel it coming all the way up, lengthen tall, give the shoulders a nice roll out here. and rest yourself in neutral so you're neither tipped forward or back. We're going to start with our balance exercises with our heel raises. So let's gently engage our core, and we're going to take ourselves up onto tiptoes and then rising down. So press through the ball of the feet and lower. We want to keep equal pressure through both legs as best we can. Breath out, breath in. Growing tall through the head, feeling that lengthening, lifting to the ceiling. And that exhale to lift and inhale to lower. We'll take 2 more and down and 1 more. Adding in some arms this time. So from here, we're going to lift, come down, open that right arm, return. We lift and down, rotate the other way and come back. Lift, down, rotate. Get as much twist as it feels good to do so in your body. Keeping those hip bones facing to the front. Exhale and inhale. Eye gaze follows the hand round. And let's just be really aware of that balance on both ankles, coming onto the balls of the feet and down. Okay, taking it from here this time, we're going to take the arms overhead, and then as we land, we're going to take it circle round. Overhead and circle round. Let's lengthen tall. Circle, let your eye gaze come with you. Tall and circle. We'll go once more either side. Lift and circle. Last time. Lift and circle. We're going to do that similar, adding in the legs a little bit more with some knee bends. So we're going to take it down into the knees and rise up tall. Send the weight back over your heels and make sure your eye gaze, when you look, you can see your big toes. And then keep the back tall. The chest is open. The arms nice and relaxed. Let's exhale and inhale. So feel that length remaining from your tailbone to your head. Feel that core gently drawing inwards for 2 more. 2. Stay down on this one. Hold it here. Take the arm round to the center and tall. Down. Rotate. Back and tall. Keep those shoulders melted away from our ears. Working with that breath, keeping the weight down in the heels. Reach, rotate. Last time, we're going to do the overhead circles this time. So as we come down, hold it here. Circle it round and tall. Down, circle and tall. Keep that breath slow and steady. Good. Keep those legs hip distance apart. 2 more. And tall. 1 more. We're going to stay, we're going to come back to standing. This time we're going to squat it down, hands behind the head, shoulder shrug, lengthen tall. Down, shoulder shrug, lengthen tall. Keep the elbows nice and wide. Lift through the chest. Breathe out, breathe in. Hopefully feeling warm through those legs. We've got 1 more. Standing tall. Right arm up to the ceiling, reach to the fingertips. And switch sides. Lengthen the fingertips away from each other. And come back. And again, feel that stretch from the hip all the way to the fingers. And down last time. And release. Let's take the feet wider than hip distance with the toes turned out glutes now, and a good space between the feet here. We're going to come into our wide squats. So weight through the heels, back tall. We're just going to sit and rise. Breath out, breath in. We're just going to take 4, 3, keeping those backs tall, 2, and hold it here. We're going to circle one arm under, one arm over, and then back up tall. Come down, circle the other way, come back tall, down. Really nice to get that side bend working into our movement. Keep the weight pressing in the heels. Keep the knees pushing outwards. So keeping those knees out wide. Last time. From here, come tall. Take it down once more. Side bend this right arm. To the other side, side bend. And come back. Work yourself up. Give yourself a shake out. We're just going to come into some toy soldier arms. So bring the arms to the front, drop the shoulders, and engage your center. Top arm up, bottom arm down, and then we switch. Exhale and inhale. Now resist the urge to let the rib cage or chest come forwards. Really keep those ribs drawn downwards. Tiptoes. We lift, pause, lift, pause. Exhale, inhale. Soft through the shoulders. Squeeze those buttocks up onto the balls of our feet. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Have a little loosen off from there. Okay, so let's take ourselves into our Pilates rest position. So just have the knees and feet hip distance apart and just roll the pelvis a few times back and forth. Just feeling the back coming off of the mat and then flattening your back into the floor. So just create that movement, and then we want to rest somewhere in the middle so that you are level across the hips, neither rock forward or backwards. We're going to start with some shoulder bridges here. So usually I would say to remove your head cushion if you have one. Just because of my hair today, I'm going to keep mine in place, and relax your hands by your sides. So you want to gently engage through your center, roll your back into the floor, peel your spine off the mat, lift it nice and high, and then work your way back down again. So we want to imagine every bone in the spine peeling up off the floor, and then placing every bone back down again. So really enjoy the movement through your spine, but also feel that drawing in through the core, that squeeze through the buttocks, and everything working in sequence. We're going to exhale as we roll through. Inhale to hold. Exhale, roll back down again. Keep the shoulders really melted by your sides. So nice wide collarbones, palms are facing upwards, and we're keeping that pelvis really steady. Let's take one more like this. And then we're going to try and do the same thing but on our tiptoes, just to change the focus of the muscles being used. So bring your feet closer towards your bottom, get good support through the feet, through the core, and then we go again. We roll up, hold it nice and high, roll back down again. Now you'll feel a change in where the muscles are working. So you might feel the top of the thighs being a little bit tighter. You might feel your calves really working here. But let's just keep lifting and lowering, keeping that flow through the spine. And then if you feel up to it, we're going to add in some overhead arms as well. So this time, roll to the top. We hold it in place, and as you come down, we're going to float those arms over. Exhaling, lift, and lowering. Keep the shoulders really soft. Be mindful not to let those knees buckle out to the side. So really keep the pressure on the inner thighs to keep the legs hip distance apart. Keep the ankles in line. Flow with your breath. Breath out. Inhale, hold. Breath out. We'll take one more like this. And then we're going to hold it when we get back down to the floor. And let's take the arms out to 90 degrees. We're going to add a chest press. So we're going to draw the arms towards each other when we get to the top. So center engaged, roll through your bridge, squeeze the arms up to the ceiling, draw the elbows back down. Breathing out, inhale, hold. Breathing out. So try and keep the sequence of the bridge moving with the arms. Really good challenge for that mind-body control. Can we do arm movements, spinal movements, and brain power? Keep drawing in through that center. Feel your hip bones as if they were magnets drawing towards each other as we lift. Draw the shoulder blades, press the elbows into the mat when we land. Last one. And lower down. Relax the feet. Interlace the fingertips behind the back of the head. We're going to get deeper into the abdominals now with some abdominal preparations. So making sure you're in your neutral position to start with. Shoulders are relaxed. We're going to inhale. And on your exhale, we're going to curl that upper body. Eye gaze towards the knees. And then we lower back down again. Exhaling as we lift. Inhaling, lower down. Now you want to come up high enough here that you feel the tension across that core, but you don't space underneath. So we should still have that neutral core space. Just enough room to thread the ribbon underneath the lower back. But we want to feel these muscles working, so aim your direction horizontally towards the knees. It's not about getting higher up. Keep the elbows wide. We're going to exhale and inhale. This time adding a reach. So we're going to lift, reach for the toes, hands to the head, lower down. Breathe out. Breathe in and down. Keeping those legs absolutely still. Watching those knees don't wobble around. Really feel the mat underneath both feet, keeping the feet grounded, keeping them in place. We've got 3 more. And lift, reach, together and down. 2. Last one. We're going to add in some scissor legs this time. So the upper body is going to do the same. But as we lift, we're going to float one leg to tabletop and down, alternating the legs and down, being mindful not to bring that leg any closer. So we just want to align the knee over the hip, keeping that neutral space. Really important here that we don't round the back to the floor. Breath out. Breath in, keeping your chin off of your chest. Elbows remain wide. And if you're not quite feeling the effort here, draw your chest up a tiny bit further. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rest yourself down from there. Hands remain back to the side and soften through the shoulders. Make sure you're still in your neutral position in case we've lost that here. We're going to come into some double tabletop preparations. So let's engage through the center. Float that first leg to tabletop. Deeper engagement. Bring the second leg to tabletop. Do a quick check. Lower back should not have arched. Tummy should not be bulging out. Elbows are straight when we touch the knees. From there we lower down and we lower down. So we lift and pause, deeper engagement, lift and pause. We lower down, we lower down. So double tabletop prep, all about our precision. So making sure we land on that exact same spot every time we return to the floor. It's about building the tension through these abdominals. Keeping that lower back, keeping that core engaged. But we also want to feel that increased effort through that core as we float that second leg and as we lower that first leg. So really feel that belt tightening around the waist, keeping us supported. Slow your breathing. Doesn't matter when we breathe at this stage, let's just keep a steady breath in and out. Take one more. We're going to stay at double tabletop if you are comfortable to do so. Check that lower back position. Check that core is engaged. One leg stretch. We're going to stretch away, draw it in. Lengthen away, draw it in. Let's breathe out, breathe in. Breathe out, breathe in. If that feels a stage too much for you, you're going to remain on the floor. We're going to take one leg to tabletop and stretch out. Fold in, lower down. So choose which level works for you, making sure that we constantly feel that tension on the belt across your waist. The shoulders are melted down to the mat. Eye gaze is just glancing at the top of the knees, just looking at that leg stretch. And for both levels here, as you stretch away, you want to feel that inward pressure through the core, keeping us nice and controlled. We're breathing out as we stretch out. We're breathing in as we come in. I'm going to take two more. And one more. We're going to take it into some hundreds now just to finish these off with a little bit of endurance. So you've got lots of different options here. You can keep both feet flat on the ground, core tight, and pulse the hands. You can add one leg to tabletop. You could go deeper and add two legs to tabletop, or you could add a head lift. Head lift could also come in with one foot or with no feet. So choose which level works for you. Let's relax through the shoulders. Let's feel that tension across the waist and let's pulse. So as we pulse the arms, we should feel that tension building across our core. Breathing in, breathing out. Don't let it go, let's keep going. You keep pulsing fast. I'm going to count it down. We've got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Relax the shoulders there. Take the knees into the chest. Give your back a little bit of rounding and rock side to side. After keeping the spine still and neutral, let's just loosen it off. Release the legs one at a time. So let's set up in side lying with the ankles, knees and hips stacked on top of each other. We're going to take this top hip and draw it down towards the toes to create length down both sides of the body, and we should just have a small gap here. We're going to engage through our centre. Hand to the front if you need, or hand on the hip. We're going to do some leg lifts to work the top hip here. So working from that centre, we're going to lift and lower. Drawing a straight line with that toes. So we point the toes, we pull the ankle back. Exhale and inhale. Keeping the shoulders drawn back if you can. And just bringing that focus back to the core every single time so that we have that connection through the core, through the middle, supporting us. breathing out, breathing in. And as the leg lifts, be careful not to sink into the mat here. So keep this lower side lifted as best we can. And that's just really good for maintaining good pelvic stability. Breath out, breath in. We're going to take 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to bring it into some side kicks. So keep that leg straightened. You may want to use your hand for support here. Center engaged. We're going to glide forwards, glide back. So drawing that leg as far forward and as far back as we can. Working a little bit harder through that core to keep you in check. Now if you need to, you can bend this bottom leg for more support. Hand can go on the hip if you're feeling in control of everything. And squeeze back into that buttock behind you. So we exhale and inhale. Point the toes forward, pull the toes back. Just be mindful to keep that core engaged, making sure tummy stays secure. It's not bulging out. Have that idea as if you're on the edge of a cliff top and you want to make sure that you're not going to topple forward. You're going to keep yourself really steady. One more. And then we're going to put those two movements together. So either with the two legs straight, or you can keep the bottom leg bent. We're going to do our lift and lower, side kick and back. Lift, lower, side kick and back. Exhale, inhale, exhale and inhale. Try to keep minimal pressure through this hand as much as you can. And just feel those hips working, but really keeping that focus on remaining stable through the trunk, stable through your pelvis. We've got 3, and stretch. 2, last one, and stretch. Lower that leg down. We're just going to take it round into a child's pose. So just send the hips over the heels, sink yourself down, breathe out. Just let that hip go for a moment, let it relax. And then we're going to come up onto hands and knees for the next exercise here. So we're going to take equal pressure on both hands and both knees. Draw the chest up nice and tall. Now the leg that you've just been exercising is the one that we're going to use again. So making sure that core is active, we're going to take that knee, hover it a couple of inches for some glute press. So we're going to press to the ceiling, bring it back. Press and back. Squeeze and down. Now you really want to feel this in that bottom. So press and down. Sole of the foot flat to the ceiling. So just watch that you're not pointing your toes here. Keeping those elbows extended. Breath out, breath in. And drawing up through that core every time we press. So hugging that tummy, engaging that core up towards us. 3, 2, hold it here nice and high, core pulled in, pulse, tiny little pulses, push, 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 push. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Take a quick child's pose, send the hips down and return. We're going to do our glute press on the other side while we are here. So lengthen through that chest again. Shoulders are back, core is engaged. Taking that leg, we're going to press and down. Press and down. Now let's try to maintain square hips here. So avoid rotation, avoid leaning over to the static side. We exhale and inhale, exhale and inhale. 4, 3, keep squeezing. 2, hold it here. We pulse, pulse, pulse. Squeeze it to the ceiling for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Take another child's pose and exhale. Okay, taking yourself up. Take your head cushion to the other side. Before we do the other side, we're going to do a little seated section here. So come into sitting with equal pressure on your bottom bones. Now for this, you can sit with butterfly legs, you can sit with legs outstretched, whatever is your comfort for your legs. We're going to do some small roll-ups. So arms to the front, we lengthen tall, we inhale, we exhale, we roll, and we draw it back up again. Breath out, breath in. Now, if you're feeling any weakness through that core or pain through your lower back, just stay at this level with me. If you're feeling strong, however, I want you to gradually go further back. Okay, so round through the curve, C curve through the spine, S shape, sit tall, but it's up to you how far back you want to go. Breathing out, breathing in. 3, 2, and 1. We're going to combine this with a saw movement now to get these obliques working a little bit further. So just going to outstretch the legs here. We're going to lengthen nice and tall, and we're going to exhale down to the leg, rise tall. Exhale down, rise tall. From there, roll back, roll up, outstretch for saw, reach and lift. Exhale and lift. Bring those legs in. We roll as far as you wish to. Lengthen tall, tall spine. Try to keep both bottom bones firmly on the floor for our saw, and just keep that nice rhythm, that nice momentum going as we work. We're going to take one more of each. Roll it back, lift through the chest, last saw. And lengthen tall. From there, we're going to add a little bit of arm work here. So we're going to come into some tricep back bends here. So squeeze your elbows back behind you, your shoulder blades back behind you. Lift through your chest. Engage through your core. We're going to drop the elbows and press tall. Squeezing those elbows as if you're trying to get them to touch each other. Draw back and lift. Now, although it's about the arms, let's feel that core drawing inwards. Breathe out, breathe in. Now, if this is sore on your wrists, you could try and do them on your knuckles, although it is a little bit harder. Or you could stick with the roll-up exercise on its own here. We're going to take 3, 2, and 1. From there, we're going to press through those arms, press through your feet, lift up into our reverse hovers, and then lower back down. So squeeze the shoulder blades together, press through those hands, chest is high, we lower down. Exhaling. Inhaling. So your bottom will join in slightly here, but really try and make it about the upper body work here, the core work as well. Now we're going to combine with our triceps. Tricep lean, press up high and down. Let's breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. And lift. Hopefully feeling those arms working nicely now. And down. We've got 2 to go. So finishing off this one. Lower down. And press. Last one. And press. Good. From there, lengthen out the legs. Just give the wrists a nice good loosen off. And just stretch yourself forward for a moment to widen the shoulder blades, widen the upper back. And then release. Give those shoulders a nice good loosen off. So let's take it on to the other side to finish our hip sequence this way around. So we want to have the ankles, knees and hips all stacked on top of each other. Draw this top hip down towards the toes so we create that length, that lift and that core engagement here. So we start with our lift and lower. So we're going to lift and lower. Toes point, toes pull back. Hand in the front if you need the stability. Hand on the hip if it feels good. Let's exhale and inhale. Point, pull back. So let's just be aware as we lift the leg, we don't want to collapse into this lower waist area. So really just keeping that tiny gap. It's just enough that you can thread a ribbon underneath. We exhale and inhale. Try to maintain the same height every single time. It's really easy as you get tired to start to lower that leg down. So let's keep the same height. We're going to take 3, 2, and 1. We're going to come into side kick now, so you can use this hand for support if you need to, and you can also bend the bottom leg if you need to. We're going to glide forward, glide back, as if you're cleaning the top of your coffee table, back and forth, breathing out, breathing in. So see how far forward you can go and then squeezing into that buttocks behind you, the further back you can. But let's really keep this core drawn in. Keep the rib cage down towards the hip bones and keep that core nice and tight. We exhale and inhale. Point the toes, pull it back. Get as far forward as you can control for 3, 2, and 1. We're going to combine those 2 movements now. So again, staying straight and extended if you wish, or keeping that bottom leg bent. So we're going to lift and lower, side kick and back. Point, pull back. Point, pull back. Let's keep the leg flowing as much as you feel comfortable to. So bigger movements means we're working harder. And then just be mindful of this lower waist gap, trying to keep that lifted all the way through. Breath out, breath in. We lift and down, stretch and through. Keeping that support. 3 to go. 3 and lift. Good job. 2 and lift. And 1 more. And lift. Good. Rest that leg down. We're going to pop round and just take a child's pose to loosen that off. So just sending the hips over your heels. And breathe out. Just melt yourself to the mat, relax through the shoulders, let your bottom, let the tension in the hips go completely, and then release. We're going to come up onto all fours and do a little bit of upper body strength work along with the core here. So getting the shoulders over the wrists, the hips over the knees, draw the chest up high, draw the shoulder blades back. We're going to come into our swimming here. So with that core active, we're going to lengthen, lift, lower, return. Lengthen, lift, lower, return. So let's be super precise. Imagine that each arm and leg have their own little channel that they're going to go through. No deviation from those channels. And then keep that core strong under, drawing up underneath. Breath out. Breath in. The arm that you're resting on here, make sure we're really lifting up through the shoulder, drawing yourself away from the ground, squeezing into that buttocks. We're going to take 2 more after this next one. Keep that back steady, pelvis facing down. Last time. Good. Take the weight off of the shoulders, give them a roll off of the wrists. We're going to bring in a little bit more upper body and core focus here now. So tuck the toes underneath, lift that chest up nice and high for our hover exercise. So engaging through your center, we inhale. As we exhale, hover the knees a couple of inches, we hold it strong, and we lower back down. We inhale, exhale, hold, lower. Let's continue if we can. So we breathe out on the lift. We inhale, hold, we lower down. Now just watch that the back doesn't drop. We don't want it to lift. We want to keep nice and secure through here. Let's imagine we've got a box under your chest, keeping you high. Breath out, breath in. Good. 3 more. 3 and down. 2 and down. Last one. Okay, we're going to add a little bit of variation for this. If this is not for you, you can carry on with the hovers that you were just doing. So for our variation, we're going to hover and step out to a high plank position. So shoulders are back, chest is high, core is active. Hover, hold, stretch, stretch, hold. Back to hover, hold, and down. Lift, hold, stretch, stretch, back, back, and down. Let's keep that momentum going. If you need a longer rest in between, you can take a child's pose and then you can come back if you need to. Use the knuckles if the wrists are becoming a problem here. And let's keep going. Going at your own pace, however, keep that momentum going nice and strong. Work with that breath. Steady breaths in and out. Good. Trying to keep those shoulders roughly over the wrists if we can. Keeping those legs just a few inches from the floor. Watch that we don't get the bottom lifting any higher. Last one. Lower down and sit back. Get the weight off of those wrists. Give them a nice loosen off. Give the shoulders a good roll out. And then we're just going to take a child's pose to stretch that even further. Part the knees so you can get a little bit lower. Rest your head right down onto the mat. And then clasp the hands together and bring them into prayer position here, just to get a bit of a stretch through the upper body as well. And then release. So let's take it up into our hip flexor stretch to begin with. So we want to take a wide step forward with the front leg. Have the hips facing the end of your mat here, and we're just going to tuck the tailbone ever so slightly into neutral and draw the body forwards. The further forward we go, the more we should feel that stretch down this back hip here, and keeping that chest lifted high. Shoulders draw back, just ease into the stretch a little bit further. We're going to take both arms up from the chest. Draw them back behind your ears if it feels comfortable to do so. Hands come to the front. We're going to take the opposite hand and bow arrow back behind us to open through the spine. And then return. And again, bow and arrow. Let the head follow the hand. And once more. Keeping the pressure driving forwards, however, here. We're now going to take the opposite hand to the ceiling, so the same as the front leg. And then we're going to take it over for a side bend, so reaching as far over as we can go. And then bringing it back again, taking both hands down to the front this time, planting them on the mat. We're going to take the same hand as that front leg open to the ceiling for a twist. Eye gaze to the fingertips. And then come on back down. Make your way into swan stretch. So fold that leg underneath, lengthen the back leg out, and sit this hip down onto the mat. You're going to fold the chest forward as far as you're comfortable to go. And exhale. Relax through the shoulders. If you want a deeper stretch, walk round to the shin or toes. And relax through the upper body. And release. From here, we're going to make our way into a cobra position. So you can bring yourself flat down onto your tummy, and then we're just going to lift up through the upper body. We're going to melt down. You can lower yourself all the way down if it feels good to. And then bring yourself back up again. Lower yourself down. And then pop yourself all the way back for a child's pose. We're going to swap those legs over now. So coming back up, take the other leg to the front, wide step forward, hips are square, we lean forwards. Keep length in the spine. Take both arms up to the front and up above the head, lifting through the chest, easing more into the stretch if you can. And then take the hands down, bow arrow. So we draw that arm back, look to the hands, and return. Exhale. And return, take one more. And return. Take the opposite hand, the same hand, opposite hand as that leg, and we'll take it over for a side stretch. Come back over. We're going to plant the hands down to the floor here. Keep the weight coming forwards, and we're just going to open up for a spine twist to the ceiling. Relax that hand down. Make your way to swan stretch. So we fold that leg underneath, extend out the back leg, plant the hip, and lower the chest forwards. Breathing out. And if you want a deeper stretch, come round to the shin or toes, or just lower that chest further down. carefully come up from your swan stretch position, come into a seated position, so you can be cross-legged or kneeling, whichever feels good for you, and just shake out the shoulders. We're going to take some chest stretch here. Both hands lift, widen through the front, and then lower back down again. Breath out, reach, and down. Take one more. Reach, and then just give everything a real good shake off to finish through there.